Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got 3 replays in the mercenary tier 10 light tank, the Tusk. And yes, Derp is love, Derp is life. That's what the Tusk's motto is, that's what our motto is, that's just what the Tusk does. It derps, it has fun. But it's also a fairly capable light tank because it's got really good view range. It's pretty, you can get the camo down to a pretty decent level. So you can go spot for yourself pretty easily, get hopefully assistance from people shooting things. And when you want to meme, you can run in and derp to your heart's content, which is always the fun thing for the Tusk. And it's a tank that I've always loved since it came out. As soon as I saw it was a thing with the mercenaries, I was like, oh my goodness me, I have to have this tank, right? Because the T49, as you saw in one of the videos recently, is my most played tank. And this has got the turret of a Sheridan, or the T49, and the hull of an AMX 13105. But it's got the turret of a Sheridan with the, with the 152mm derp gun. I'm all over that. All over that. I didn't do the original grind for the Tusk, though, which was literally just to play the Tier 10 Sheridan and Tier 10 13105 for, like, 900,000 XP. I didn't do that because I'm not mental. But I did do the second grind, which was basically Tier 9 and 10 light tanks, and tank destroyers, I think it was, as well, which is, pretty handy when I was grinding at the E4 line at the time. But the grind for it is actually far easier these days than it ever was back in the day, which is probably good for you people because, the grind for this tank was utterly ridiculous generally. But yeah, Tusk is absolute fun and memes. So as a crew that I run in the Tusk, we got there in the end, I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Camouflage Expertise, Muffled Shot, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun. Now I run the 3 gun perks because naturally this is a derp gun. It likes to derp, so I do the best I can to make it hit if I actually shoot and aim my shots at people. And then I have camo and muffled shot just to make sure that obviously the tank has the best camo it can possibly have. And just reduce that chance of me getting spotted in general. And in terms of equipment, I run optics, vert stabs, and a camo net. So I run the camo net because I want to make my camo as good as humanly possible. Again, I'm a light tank. I want to be able to scout when I want. I run the optics to be able to spot for myself because I'm a scout. Again, I want my view range to be as high as possible. In any light tank, you want to get your view range as high as humanly possible so you can do your job of spotting. And then vert stabs to make this gun as good as it can be because it is derpy. I don't run the advanced loader or the gun rammer because, well, I'm a derp gun. And in my opinion, I feel like I shouldn't be relying on my DPM. So while I've got the ability to run a rammer and make my DPM better with, the awful reload that this tank has because it is a derp gun, I shouldn't be relying on that, so I want to make everything else better. Plus, I was happy with the way the reload is pre-6.0. So the reload felt fine to me pre-6.0 with a gun rammer. And with the advent of the rapid reload skill, I have the same reload as I did before 6.0, and naturally, obviously, making it 10% better even more than that is always a thing. But if I can make everything else better, like the camo, and make the camo dirty, I'd much rather do that and then just stick with the same reload that I had pre-6.0, essentially. That's just my thinking of it, but, as it goes. So yeah, you can see on this game on Mali, we are playing that sneaky bush sniper. We are sitting in a bush on Mali, spotting a lot of their team. We're up to 5.4k damage with 1,400 assistance. And realistically, these first 2 replays are all about that spotting. And yeah, we're being patient. We're keeping all these guys lit up. I was kind of hoping that we'd start getting more, but I think everyone was getting lit up by the VK4502B who was running around. So we haven't got any more spotting, but he is currently charging into our guys, and I'm thinking, you know what, do I go for the ass shot on this guy and then duck down into the dip in front of me? Possibly not. This Leopard 1 is now coming in. I'm like, okay, I could pen this Leopard 1 if I'm play it right. Unfortunately, we don't pen the Leopard 1, but we do manage to get out of dodge pretty easily and get safe. Unfortunately, everything else got unspotted, which is kind of unhelpful. The Leopard 1 gets absolutely deleted now the VK4502B's gone. So we pull back up into the bush to try and spot the people, and we get lit up ourselves, which is really unfortunate. But we do get to spot the guys, so I'm kind of hoping that people will start shooting them. But realistically, the Tyrann and the T-54 are just a little bit too far away. Then we take a hit from in the distance. We actually take a hit from the middle of the map there. And it's like, what? Okay, well, I'm now unspotted, so I'm just going to go sit back in the bush that I was in. And we end up lighting this Tyrann up who's driving in the middle of the open. I'm hoping my team will shoot it so I actually get some spotting. This Batchat 25T does get spotted up there. And I'm like, oh, God, I could pen that if I hit that right. We fire, and, yeah, we pen the Batchat. Look at that. We went from, like, 1,700 or 1,800 to 2,700. We'll take that. We're still on 5.5k damage, and it's like, okay, you know what, it's time. They've only got 4 tanks left. We're just going to go in on this poor old Tyrann and wipe him out and end his day, because he's made of paper, although I do have trouble penning these things at times. And we managed to shut down that Tyrann. Bye-bye, Mr. Tyrann. And the next tank on our list is this T-54. So we're going to try and find out where he is, hopefully get a bit of spotting on him, but also try and get round to derp him. So we end up lighting him up as we come around the building. We get a shot into him for 230 with a splash, and it's like, well, hello, Mr. T-54. Bye, Mr. T-54. He misses us again, and we're just coming round for the second bite at the cherry, but unfortunately he ends up getting shut down by Waffle E100 before we get the chance to shoot him, but we do get the assistance for it, so we'll take it. Finish the game with 1 kill, 3.3k damage, 5.9k assist. The first class, the Scout Medal, 1,406 base XP. Nice game for the Tusk, where we scouted our arts out and got a little bit of derp action in there with that shot on the Batchat, which is always great. And now we're on to the second replay, and this one we're on Erlenberg and Erlenberg Encounter as well. And we're platooned up with Swindle and with Turkey, who are going to provide us with some nice covering fire. So it is Encounter on Erlenberg, so I do expect the enemy team to just rush down the 2 line. So as my light tanking pals are going to do here, so me and this Manticore, we're just going to rush forward down the 9 line and see if we can spot up anything that dared to cross that bridge on Encounter. Because generally we will get to this ridge over here far quicker than they will ever get across that gap. And, yeah, it'll be bad times for them. We don't spot anything up, though. So I decide, you know what, we're going to roll aggressively. We're going to try and get some spots ahead of this Manticore. And we do light up this IS-7. And he is in the open, realistically. But he's behind some buildings. But he's in a position where he's, you know, quite vulnerable. And my whole team is on this 9 line. So if we can get some spots, hopefully we'll get some shots and we can rack up the assistance damage. You can see the IS-7 does get hit there though, and we don't get the assistance. I think the Manticore ended up catching a glimpse of him and we basically lost our spot on him. But we're up to 384 assistance, and it's kind of that idea of thinking, what am I going to do next? We do realise we've got a little shot at this IS-7 through this gap, so it would be rude not to. We slap the shot into his side for 277, derping style. And we are lighting him up, so we get a little bit of assistance there. Not much, though, as you can see, he gets hit again. We end up lighting up there Sheridan, who's running around, and I'm like, okay, I can get this shot aimed in, I can derp him. Unfortunately, the shell doesn't hit his turret, which is where I wanted to hit, because that's where I could pen the Sheridan. But that guy does get wrecked. We do get like 400 damage off him, and we'll take it. That's their light tank gone. They've got 1 left, who is on the other side. But yeah, like I say, currently we're at 1,100 assistance with 772 damage. And I'm thinking, right, okay, they haven't really pushed too much. They've got a couple of tanks that got spotted along the K line, but most of them, and especially with all the shots that kept whiffing us, are on this ridge over on our left. So you know what? I'm going to push over, try and spot them, and get rid of the pig for our friends. We get over, hello, Mr. 261, pen him for 976, and we're doing our light tanking duties. We're getting rid of the piggy, so our friends can live on and have a great time without getting pooped on. It's like, goodbye, Mr. 261. The piggy raid is here. We've got our bacon. We're out of dodge. It's good. But we are lit up, so I didn't want to push straight across, because as soon as I got detected, I was like, no, I don't want to really take that hit yet. And we're just going to chill here for a second and see if anything actually pushes over to try and get us. But nothing is actually coming over this way, so it's like, you know what? We might try and keep these guys lit up, because our team is starting to push quite aggressively towards the centre of the map, and if we keep these guys lit up on this ridge and push over and try and light everyone up on this ridge, we could get some mean assistance damage. So we try and get a snapshot of the 705A. It doesn't go in, but we do spot this T28 Proto. And the T28 Prot clearly doesn't have a clue that I'm here. And it's like, well, I can pen that. And absolute derpingtons. We managed to pen the T28 Proto there and get rid of him. So now, again, like I say, we're going for that spot in. We're up to 3k damage, 1100 assistance so far, and we are lighting up their team over here. A bit of artillery splashing comes in, we get to 1700, and like I say, we are keeping these guys lit. The general tries to poke over to get a shot at us. Unfortunately, he doesn't get shot himself. We are lighting up the 7058, like I say. The Rheinmetall Panzerwagen comes after us, and it's like, no, sir, get out of here. You don't rush Tusk. We're penning him for 924. Track him in place. He gets wrecked. Their team are trying to poke over to shoot me. I'm giving them a target here where they have to try and poke over and risk themselves to get shots at me. And as you can see, it's working. They're poking over, pushing too aggressively, and they are giving me assistance damage because my team has pushed up. We are now loaded up, and I'm going to try and poke over to get a shot at this 7058, but it doesn't quite... Well, we don't get a chance to because the Iron Arnie gets spotted, but we do get assistance on the Iron Arnie. We poke a shot at the Iron Arnie, but unfortunately, because of all his spaced armor, get absolutely no damage. A bit more assistance flies in. We're up to 5k spotting, and unfortunately, his TVP's decided to come after us. He gets 2 shots in, which is really annoying, because now I'm fairly low health. The General comes in. We get rid of him, and then the 705A comes and finishes us off. But to try and finish us off, he loses his whole tank, which is a great trade, realistically. We're finished with the epic victory, 3 kills, 4,000 damage, 5.1k assistance, the patrol duty, first class, 1,529 base XP. A really great game for the Tusk, where we did, well, 9k combined again, where it was just basically sit there, push into aggressive positions, keep them all lit, and for every time they were having to try and come over and push and try and get damage on me, they were giving themselves up to my team, and thus they were taking themselves out, and it, you know, contributed to helping win the game, essentially. They were bleeding all their hit points, whereas my guys were safe. And it's the same as going after that piggy, right? The piggy could sit there farming my guys as they get lit constantly, whereas I go over there, I know I can take him out and then get away safe in itself anyway. So we're into the third and final replay, and this one was from a little while ago, so this is actually before the artillery changes, and I'm platooned up with Randy in his arty, which is the T92, which before the artillery changes, I light things up, he'll probably absolutely blap things, because that's what the T92 did. And we're platooned up with Rossi as well. We get a nice snapshot there into that 279's engine deck. We're up to 369 damage so far. We've got 360 assistance, but we're not really getting much any more assistance than we already have, because they're... or shall I say, our light tank has charged in on the other way. Their light tank is pushing across this gap, and I'm thinking I can possibly get a derp into this Manticore, but unfortunately, the Manticore just gets across before we manage to get our gun to bear. We're currently lit up at the minute, so I'm just playing as careful as I can, because it can go quite badly. This Manticore, though, decides to come straight back out and cross the gap in front of the Tusk, and we're penning for like 900 damage. It's like, thank you very much, Mr. Manticore. I'll take that all day, every day. We're up to 1,200 damage with that shot, and yeah, it's always nice when a light tank presents themselves to be shot at, right? And again, we've pushed up on top of this little ridge on El Haloof so that we can spot the enemy team. I'm looking at that shot there, and oh my god, it penned. That is the dream. 985 damage. Derp is love, derp is life. That shot on the T55A is what the dream is made of, right? Because when he pulled out sideways like that, I knew that I could pen him if the shot avoided his spaced armor. So between the tracks, in that little gap where his tracks are. And we managed to actually hit that shot and pen it. We aggressively pushed the M60, who's pushing up, pen him for 891 in the rear. Unfortunately, he gets a shot into us, but we do manage to avoid all the others. That T55A is coming to the T100s here. It's like, oh god, this is kind of awkward. These people have all come after me. The M60's not happy that I penned him. We fire a shot ridiculously. The T95 FV4201 shuts down the M60. The T100 LT is still coming for us. Absolutely fantastic driving, and I'm like, oh god, I could die here. He misses. We get the shot into him on the move for 951. Oh my goodness me, what is going off? We managed to get a big shot into that T100 LT. We ended up riding him for a second there, and oh wow, that was a whole moment. That was a whole moment. That was clenched butt cheeks the whole way. And we're up to 4.2k damage with 2.1k assistance and 282 hit points. I can breathe a second really there. And yeah, That was just chaotic. That was just chaotic moment. We've now got the ass of this T-54, which we sling a shot at and pen him. Or finish him off, really, with a splash, to be perfectly honest. And now I'm thinking, right, what can I do? Because I've only got 282 hit points. I'm a one-shot for everything. I do have to be careful now. That T100 LT has run away. And this 705 ends up poking up so we can get a shot at him. So it's like, well, why not? We hit him for 270 in the side. Put ourselves up to 4.5k damage. The E5 is poking over there. I'm like, I wish I was reloaded right now to get a shot at him. But I can't quite do it. But he's coming back over again for another attempt. So we're going to hopefully swing a shot at him, which we do for 196, tracks him in place. You never know, if someone actually gets a shot at him, we might get a bit more assistance there, which we do. Oh my god, Randy. That's filthy. That was 1500 on that T9, that T110 E5, by the way. That tracking shot on that guy, I've tracked the E5, and I've clearly said to him, because I can't quite remember it, because this was quite a while ago, I've clearly gone to Randy, I've tracked that E5, please delete him. And he's gone, well, okay then, and absolutely deleted him. The closet pig that is Randy Duck. We know he's going to delete that guy, and that's exactly what happened. That's put us up 1,500 assistance. We're up to 4.7k damage with 3.6k assistance, which is great so far. There's the Waffly 100 that I was thinking, oh, I could pen that, but, well, unfortunately, he ends up diving off a cliff. Now the artillery gets spotted. I'm looking at the GWE 100 thinking, can I pen the GUI? It's a very difficult pen, the GUI, but we actually managed to splash him because someone else takes a shot at him, and we've shut him down. We're up to 4,999 damage, nearly 5k, and we've got the rear of a Foch 155. Oh, it's not the rear of a Foch 155. We can pen that if we get his rear, but he starts to give us the bit of his side, but we don't, unfortunately, get enough of it to pen it. But we do splash it, putting us up to 5.3k damage. There's 5 tanks left on their team. We know where the Foch is. And then another TD gets spotted over there. The T-55A is being attacked by the lightweight, so we're going to come over and see if we can help this guy with a derp into the lightweight. We've got his rear, though. This is a pen. And unfortunately, the lightweight just pulls back as we take the shot, which means we don't get the pen. Sad, sad days. And he gets deleted by the T-30. We now know where 3 of their tanks are, and I am rather alone over here against them. In fact, we know where all 4 of their tanks are. The tank at C2 is spotted, and then there's a heavy and 2 other TDs over here, which is the Foch and something else. We're just going to push over to see if we can get to a position to try and spot these TDs. We do spot the 704, and we're just looking to try and get a shot at it, which we get a nice shot into its side for 260. We stayed unspotted, which is the main thing, right? And I'm just going to try and pull into a bush here so I can try and spot their guys without getting spotted myself. But again, while I'm nearly reloaded, I do want to spot whoever it is up. We get a nice shot splashed into the 66, who does then also hit us, but thankfully he was stock. So he actually has the stock gun, which means he couldn't roll for high enough to kill us. And the M60 pops along and shuts him down. So now we know where the final 2 TDs are. They're directly in front of us. We come around the corner. It's like, hello, Mr. Foch 155 booty. I can get that. Oh, and unfortunately it misses. And the 704 comes around the corner for us. And unfortunately, he ends up shutting us down. But we do finish the game with a nice 2 kills, the 5.8k damage, 5,000 assistance, which is nearly 11k combined. Ace tanker, the patrol duty, high caliber, the Confederate, 1,754 base XP, Randy, you dirty duck, in the T92 with 5.3k damage. Really nice game in the Tusk. Derp is love, Derp is life. This tank is hella fun to play as a derp tank, as a derp scout. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!